Hey, welcome to First Stop Indy, presented by EOS Fitness. I'm joined now by Daniel Jeremiah from the NFL Network, which is providing live coverage of the 2026 NFL Scouting Combine Thursday through Sunday. Daniel, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here today.
Hey, Paul, I appreciate you having me, man.
Hey, let's just get right into it. The Raiders, for the first time since 2007, they have the number one overall draft pick. They kind of dictate, they control the draft, really. And in your latest mock, you've got Fernando Mendoza going to the Raiders. A lot of people have that as well. What about him, though, really fits into, with his skill set meshing with Clint Kubiak's offense? How does that kind of fit in your mind?
I think it fits well. I think you got somebody who can, make every type of throw you need to make. You want to have a little bit of movement based inside the offense, like Coach Kubiak likes. He's comfortable doing that. You get him some experience under center. I think he'll be fine in that regard. But you got somebody who's accurate, who's a really good decision maker, and someone who's got a lot of poise. And whether that's this system or any system, that stuff all translates quite well.
He seems like he's got kind of that unique connection of the physical attributes plus the intangibles that kind of come together. How do you see those things kind of being a marriage, not only in this system, but for him as a pro?
Yeah, it's one of the things that I like about the transfer portal. Yeah. I know there's a lot of consternation about that, and people complain about it and this, that, and the other. Well, I've got a chance to see a player struggle, which is a very important thing, and you get to see him then get it in a better environment, a little better situation and surrounding supporting cast there at Indiana, and the guy goes undefeated, Heisman Trophy, national championship. I've seen him kind of work through both of those things. And look, when you're picking first overall, it's not a perfect situation you're getting ready to walk into. So that's not going to be totally foreign to him. And I think having both the mental and physical toughness that he has is going to serve him quite well there to go along with the skill set. I mean, he's got the size, he's got enough arm, he's a good athlete, he make every throw, all that physical stuff. But to me, the mental and physical toughness, those are the things that you absolutely have to have if you're going to be the first overall pick.
It's interesting you mentioned the transfer portal and right off the bat. And for him, he's already done that in college. He went from Cal. I mean, he grew up in South Florida in Miami, went all the way to the West to Cal, was in a system there, went to Indiana. Now he's come to the NFL. How much does that factor in? Is that just kind of a way of life now for these guys with the transfer portal, NIL, coming to the league? It seems like for him, he's already kind of gone through that transition a little bit. Nothing like going to the NFL, obviously, but how does that help?
Yeah. Well, I think getting a chance to see guys adjust to new surroundings, new systems, new coaches, new supporting cast, I think all that stuff's very valuable. You didn't get that in the past. Guys always just kind of stayed where they were for 4 or 5 years, and then off they went to the NFL, and everything could feel foreign and different for the first time. I was talking to a SEC head coach a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about the portal, and he said they break it down into 3 categories for why guys transfer. One is purely for the money. One is for the opportunity. Maybe you weren't getting a chance to play at a school. And the third one, which is what this is it's for the challenge. It's kind of stepping up into, a more competitive situation, a chance to chase some dreams in that regard. And to me, that's what Mendoza falls into. And I think when we look back, 10 years from now, we have all this data from the portal over a decade. We're going to find out that if those are the 3 buckets of transfers, the guys who keep leveling up, those are going to be the guys who are the most successful.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then also with the Raiders having that number 1 overall pick, they also have some other picks, as many as 9 others projected right now. Beyond that number 1 pick, quarterback, which you have Mendoza going to the Raiders, what are some of the other positions, or what should be the next position they should really focus on?
Well, there's a lot of different places you can go. I think in terms of the value, I don't know that interior offensive line with where they're picking so high in the second round is the place to go.
Right.
I think they can find guys that can start for them, beyond the second round along the interior of the offensive line. So then you start looking at, okay, well, we could use a weapon. We could use a receiver to help this young quarterback. I would love for this draft to skew offense so that they can, try and get Mendoza up and running and as fast as possible. I'll ask you a question here, but I think if you're a Raider fan, in a year from now, say a Raiders team next year is coming off an 8-9 season, it feels different if it's, hey, the defense played great. We have a top 15 defense, but Mendoza kind of up and down, or it's the same record. And you go, our defense, we were a little leaky, but man, Mendoza, and we've got Bowers, and we've got Genty, and we've got this other weapon, and the offensive line's coming together. Right. I think it's a whole different feel to the same record.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You want to see things going forward. You want to see some progress, and I guess that's why a lot of people see the Raiders attacking free agency, the offensive line and free agency, hitting the other spots and there.
Yeah.
Defensively, though, we're here at the Combine. What are some other potential pass rushers that, given where the Raiders are picking and potentially moving back up into certain rounds, who are some pass rushers that the Raiders might be able to pair with Max Crosby, so to speak?
Yeah, there's a ton of good options. If you're looking at, in the second round, you could look at R. Mason Thomas is a guy who could fit into that mix. You get into third, fourth round, there's a couple guys from Michigan I really, really like. Derek Moore, could go, second, third round. You've got Barham from there as well, another, real talented edge rusher. You've got Akis from Illinois, is a really good player. I think day two is a nice area, nice sweet spot there for pass rushers.
Nice, and I'll close you out with this. Again, thanks for the time, Daniel. But I saw your tweet yesterday, and I got to read it right here. I remember going to Blockbuster to rent movies as a kid. You'd see the cardboard movie shell. You get so excited only to realize there wasn't a VHS behind it. That's how I view free agency after franchise tags get announced. In Barstow, we didn't have a Blockbuster where I grew up. We had VJ's videos. But I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Explain that to the layman out there, the laywoman, the average fan, what exactly you're talking about there in comparing free agency to not having a video behind the cardboard box.
Yeah, mine and growing up in El Cajon initially was Major Video. It was a big deal when Blockbuster came to town. But it was, and the other thing was you would go to the return bin after, like, it's not here. Where is this movie?
Right.
And then your last hope, like their last line of defense, you had to go to that return bin, hope you could find that movie in there. But I was flying out from San Diego. And literally, I hadn't been on social media in a minute. I hopped on there, and it's like, okay, Kyle Pitts is getting tagged. And then it was, okay, Alec Pierce, if they can't get a deal, he's going to be tagged. And I was like, well, dang, like all this fun free agency movement that we were all excited about, like we're starting to see some of these options kind of disappear. So the good thing for the Raiders, not all these guys are going to get tagged, especially along the offensive line. They'll be able to get some work done in free agency.
Got it. Daniel, thanks again. And again, for anybody watching or listening, you can check out Daniel, all the NFL Network coverage. It's live of the whole Combine, Thursday through Sunday. Daniel, thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate you.